computers and coming into the streaming area is going to affect him, throw him off a little bit. Rafa, of course,
It's his
already
first time
nestled
here.
in.
It's his first time here, too, because
Yeah.
he wasn't on stream yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like a new playing area. I know I always reference this when I talk about like feeling comfortable. Flash, a player in StarCraft 2, he like literally measured everything around the desk to make sure it's perfect. And obviously you want to feel as comfortable as you can when you're playing at an event, right? You want to replicate as much as you can of being at home where you spend most of your time practicing. So for agent transitioning, like you're saying, you know, from the playing area to the streaming area, it definitely can affect you. And I like that you pointed that out.
Yeah, little things like that can completely throw you off your game, especially when you're hyper-focused. And I don't think that'll affect him, but little things like that can, so we'll see.
It's why we play Quake, because historically it's had the lowest latency between you and the computer. It really makes that little monitor a portal into the arena itself. And so, yeah, everything's got to feel right.
Well, we do have our maps being chosen here. We've got Blood Run, we've got Blood Covenant, and we do have Awoken. I'm happy to see Awoken. It's definitely one of my favorite maps, but I'm also more importantly happy to see it towards the end of the series.
And we have Agent banning that Keel.
Okay, so we got Keel taken away, and we also have DK taken away by Rafa. So do you guys have any initial thoughts about that?
I think it's interesting, especially since we're not really going to be seeing a map like Veil very quickly by the look of it. And Rafa mentioned that, yeah, it's going to be a very kind of map-centric champion pick. And I don't think either Blood Run or Blood Covenant are great for Keel. Blood Run a little bit more, but what you're looking for there is consistency.
I'm actually surprised to see Blood Covenant chosen, because
That's
that's
what
a
I was
very...
going to say. Yeah, you mentioned earlier how Agent's pretty much that's his map, and Rafa picks into it again. We saw how it worked against Dehang. I wonder if it's going to work again, and Nyx is available as well. So,
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I almost guarantee we're going to see Nyx probably on 2 of the 3 maps at least for Agent in this one. But yeah, I would imagine if you're Rafa, like he downloads every player he ever plays against, right? He has to know how Agent's going to play. He has to know how to expect to play against it. I'm curious how he's going to adapt from more of like an aggressive style we just saw Dehang play against the passive style that Agent likes to play.
And on Blood Run, if you know how to navigate the map effectively, you can take a frag and burn a lot of the clock very consistently. It's just a matter of, you know, getting the reads, making sure that your audio cues are consistent, and creating some distance. But you can turn that back around, especially if you're a Nyx, get sneaky on the Mega, get sneaky on the Heavy, make a lot of damage happen.
And that's what I love about Nyx as like a champion. You can be very passive with her and use her to escape a lot of situations, but you can be very aggressive, right? You can use the Ghost Swat to get aggressive. You can use the double jump, or if you're Nitrino, use the double jump and nail gun to do like ridiculous jumps.
Yeah.
But you can play those different styles, and we've seen people play those different styles. Like Kilson, I think, likes to play a really aggressive Nyx. Base and Agent like to play really passive Nyx. Claws likes to be aggressive. And it's definitely one of those kind of like polarizing kind of champions in play styles.
What I'm going to be looking for here, particularly on Blood Run, is whether or not either or both players go for a Ranger pick. He hasn't been banned. He's still available. But whether or not they're both going to like decide, hey, we're playing this version of Blood Run or we're playing this version of
So
Blood
it's
Run.
that kind of game today.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be interested to see a Visor pick.
Yeah.
I want to see if Rafa locks that in. I'm not really sure about Agent, but yeah, especially if he does pick the Nyx, that might have to come out from Rafa and kind of counter that Ghost Walk.
And I know we're going to have like a lot of new viewers coming into the stream to watch. Can you actually explain really quickly why Ranger is like kind of like one of those weird picks when it comes to Blood Run for him?
2 reasons. The Dire Orb is good for mobility anyway, but there are spawns on the map where you can very quickly get Mega, and where usually because of the height, you don't get to get that heavy armor, but if you get the spawn close enough to Mega, you can orb up to that Heavy before your opponent even gets to look at it. So you can immediately take full stack control. You're going to be in a predictable spot, and you're not going to have weapons immediately, but the tone is immediately set.
And then you have to kind of respect that play if you're the other player. You have to like kind of know where they're going to be spawning in, and then realize, well, I can't fight you for the next 30 seconds. And then what's the general play style off of that? If the Ranger on the your enemy Ranger takes both items, how do you go about that to take control back?
Have an LG. Get LG, get rail, and hit the guy.
Do the damage.
So put your crosshair on the person and click.
And left click,
tips.
Or
it's
if you're
easy.
Tox, hit a keyboard button for some reason. Was it spacebar? Was it used to shoot? Spacebar?
Who?
Tox.
Tox, really?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
The Ranger pick on Blood Run is also so deadly because off some of the spawns, you could just play aggressive for the item.
Yeah.
I think it's the rail spawn where you spawn rockets and the fight over Mega. If you have that orb to you, you can just push and say, I'm going to force you to die right here.
That one's a little bit more ambiguous, but that makes it dangerous as well because if they spawn rail, they're probably going to be spawning, what, rocket launcher, I think? So they're looking at that Mega and they go, is he going to orb to it? Is he just going to run to it and then orb up to Heavy? Like, which way do I go? And unless you are watching that corridor for a good, like, 5 to 10 seconds, you're not really going to know.
Yep. And conversely, if you spawn as Ranger at the Rockets, you can grab Rockets, orb up, and catch them out at Shotgun when they're trying to go to Heavy.
This is all the really great stuff about Quake Champions Duel, I think. Even back in Quake Live, we used to run events where it was all about, all right, what do you do off of the first spawn? And we don't even go a full 10 minutes. It's like we go to the first frag.
Yep.
And it means that every decision you make off of that first spawn is vital. And because of the round-based nature of Quake Champions Duel, and because the spawns are actually set pairs, where if I spawn here, I know my opponent has spawned here. What I don't know is what he's going to do off the spawn. I know it's generally a good idea, but you have, in the first 3 seconds, like 80 decisions to make.
Yeah, it's usually, okay, I have my primary choice here, and then depending on what the champ pick is, I have my secondary path, and then the path which is like, oh my god, I can't believe he forced me to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at the top of the screen and go, okay, I picked this, he picked that, I spawned here, he spawned there. I don't see him going here. It gets messy.
There's a lot of different
quickly.
wacky combinations, and it actually makes it a lot more interesting.
And that's exactly why I think Awoken is dangerous. But Blood Run, I think, is right under Awoken for how dense those opening 10 seconds are.
Yep.
All right, well, guys, we do luckily have a little interview we did have with Rafa after he qualified yesterday to talk about his games then. And, of course, his games come up today. So let's take a look at that before we get underway here with our match.
My name is Shane Rapha Hendrickson. I play Quake for Team Liquid. I've been playing Quake for quite a long time, been a professional gamer since about 2008. I grew up in Rockford, Illinois. It's in the Midwest. It's not too far from Chicago. And even though it's a decent-sized city, it's really an oversized village, honestly. You run into people that you know like all the time. And it was a nice place to grow up. My first introduction to Quake was through my father. He was, at the time, teaching himself how to build computers. And he loved playing games in general. And once he found Quake 2, he was sold. Like, he loved playing Quake, you know, and I watched him play and, you know, he let me play a little bit here and there. And then once Quake 3 came out, he introduced me to like what the pro scene was like. And ever since then, I've just been so in love with the game. And yeah, I think what makes Quake special for me is the fact that even in team modes, your individual impact is so great in this game based off of, you know, your decision making, your mechanics and everything like that. And I think just how fast paced Quake is, there's really no other game like it. And how much each decision actually matters and weighs in the game. And I think that's what makes it really exciting for me. I'd have to say my favorite champion is Slash. I just love her fluid mobility. It just makes the gameplay feel so smooth when you know what you're doing with her. And yeah, she's probably the most fun I have when I play the game. I think time limit is probably an advantage to me when it comes to Duel, not the round-based. I was really, really good at maximizing control, whereas now with the round-based system, once, you know, a round is over, you reset and people are on even ground then. And I think this mode right now like really favors people that are playing smart, but who have really good mechanics, very good aim, very good movement. And yeah, it seems that so far players that are a little more willing to take risks as well, that it seems to help them out too. I practiced as much as I could in North America before I came to Europe. I've been in the Netherlands at the Liquid EU office for like 3 to 4 days before the event, getting jet lag out the way and playing as many European players as I could find. I think it's best to play as many different styles as you can so that you don't like get used to like certain habits of one player or another, and that you're trying to prepare and be ready for everything. I think once I got to Europe, I didn't play anybody twice. I think I played probably 8 to 12 different people in sets, and then just let it at that and looked for the next person to play. Just getting as much data and yeah, just testing my limits as much as possible. As far as rivalries are concerned or who I'd want to play, I just want to play my best in this tournament and just take it one match at a time, one game at a time, and see what happens from there. I just really want to thank Team Liquid for all the support that they've done, and just everybody that follows my stream and the whole Quake community in general. Just thanks so much for the support. It means a lot to us players when you guys get behind us and cheer for us. And yeah, I'm definitely really grateful.
He's a people person. Give him a little shout out to the fans at the end for all the support that they give him. And the fans love him too, because you know what, when he streams, he gives everything. He talks about what he's doing in the middle of the game. He even asks or answers questions constantly in between matches.
Yep.
He really is one of the shining stars when it comes to Quake.
Absolutely. He'll do like a full 20-minute Q&A at the end of his stream and just be like, all right, ask me anything. He'll help new players. He's just a great player, great community figure.
Yeah, and I love how he gets all the viewership of my cups, so it's great. Yeah. But yeah, I really appreciate everything you said. My heart just melted. I think it's running down my leg a little bit now.
Okay, we'll move on from that one. But speaking of his streams, actually, we did get to see him boot camping here in Europe. And we got to see him actually play against Agent on his stream. And this is where kind of Agent popped up on our radar of like, wow, he's actually in a really good form because he pushed Rafa really far. I think he actually took a couple of maps off of him. And it didn't look like Rafa ever had an easy match in that.
Yeah, but was Agent winning or was Rafa downloading?
That's a good question. Maybe a little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But we do have our picks coming through, guys. Why don't you walk us through what we got?
Ranger.
Yep. A lot
Stranger
of Galena.
danger.
What's
Yeah.
the third Blazkowicz from Rafa? Are we going to see the Knicks?
Ooh,
We
there
are.
it is.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ruby. So
But-
fresh, so
But
clean.
no visor. I was actually kind of expecting Nick's visor
Yeah.
for that second column.
Well, yeah, I wonder why he didn't. Well, he picked first, too, so that kind of gave Agent the ability to be like, what? No visor? All right, Knicks. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, though.
All right, guys. Well, why don't you take us through here? Our second match of the day. It's Agent, it's Rafa. And the winner of this goes on to get through tomorrow and to get into the money.
Thank you, Jason. And I think it's the first time we're seeing Blood Run on stream today. So a favorite map of mine, a perennial one. It's been around since Quake.
Yeah.
It's been around forever. It was like released like months after Quake actually came out. So it's been with us forever. So have these guys. Let's get into it. We're going to be getting off here on Ranger, I think.
Yep.
It's going to be Rafa as a Ranger spawning the small armor, but he's going to be taking that right back up to Rocket Launcher. And so immediately we're not only seeing Ranger come into this, but we're also seeing a bit of a change as far as how that orb is used to control the map. But as it stands, Agent has both items.
Yep. Rafa still has the Dire Orb up. Agent already used it to get the armor, but just like that, back up. That cooldown is so quick. As Rafa makes his way up to the Tri-Ball platform. Might get caught out by Agent here. The Dire Orbs come out, and the LG is so strong from Agent. Will miss the follow-up rail, though, and that'll give Heavy over to Rafa, but he's going to jump into LG, and that's never good. But we'll have Mega right behind him, and will survive. Agent now struggling to as he goes into the backhaul, and the chase comes out from Rafa. He knows, and the LG tickles enough. He can eat the rail, and now he has to stack back up as Agent will have to spawn on the Galena.
I wonder if that decision point was made by Rafa as soon as he saw the 225s. That tells him, okay, I know he doesn't have 100 health, but he didn't pick up this health, and he just ran past it. So I'm hot on his tail.
Yeah.
I've got him here.
Now are we going to see the Dire Orb? It's going to be a bit of a crazy play. The Rocket's fantastic, but still 48 HP, and the Mega is there just in time. Rocket's keeping Agent at bay. They trade the items.
Yeah, so a trade is going to be a good first step here for Rafa, not only getting the first frag, but starting to grind away that control away from Agent. And of course, Galena as a second champ pick is something I rather do like. We have the ability for those totems to come out and slow down Rafa a lot, but he's got his orb ready. Difficult to do anything about that orb if Rafa can get the angle, but we've got Agent down to the blood, looking to pop through TP. Rafa coming back in for the heavy armor. It's going to be a free one, and this Mega, I don't know if Agent can do much about it.
And just kind of waiting. Here's the pickup, tries to get the cheeky rail, and Rafa's going to push in, eats a totem, needs to be careful. Dire Orb comes out. Ooh, and the follow-up rocket from Agent's really good. The rail will hit, and Rafa, wow, barely survived with 30 HP. Might get caught out here in recovery room.
Yeah, they both hear each other, and they both immediately double back the other way. It's too risky for both of them, but there's the rail from Rafa getting that second frag in just a brief pixel.
That was fantastic, the jumping rail. And here's the Knicks now. The shotgun blast is so strong. Rafa needs to be careful as he drops down, and the chase comes out in Agent. And that's why Knicks is so deadly. You get that initial damage, you phase shift, your opponent doesn't really know where to track you from, and then you can get another cheeky shot off. So Agent doing a great job of trying to get back in this one.
And getting a rail off of Rafa as soon as he spawns up at the rocket launcher, that certainly sets a tone as well. Agent doesn't have a whole lot to play for other than armor. There's going to be the heavy coming up in 8 seconds as he's creeping back up to the top of the map. Rafa back in the recovery room and coming back out, but not expecting these rockets. It's great damage. He's going to lose that position. And even if he, of course he knew that Agent was going to be up at the heavy, but he couldn't do much about it.
Yep. But it's important to note that he knows Ghostwalk is down, and he does have a Blazkowicz, so the dual wield can be so strong. If you catch out that light, absolutely melt him with LGs, but unfortunately it does not have LG yet. We'll try and peek over the corner and get a little bit of damage now. Agent doing a good job of controlling rockets. Will make his way over to the heavy area.
And it's always difficult when you have heavy coming up and then Mega, because even if you're at Mega, the player at Heavy can just put so much pressure on it. But here it comes, double shoddy, but it's going to be the rocket from Agent to take away the first round.
Doing a great job of it dropping down, knowing that Rafa still doesn't have LG, and that initial rocket to just push him off and say, no, you're not going to duel with me with LG. And then he has to pop the shotgun, and just it doesn't go his way.
If only I had his mic open. Wow. But here we go. It's going to be Agent spawning at the top this time. It's actually not the best spawn for a Ranger because you just don't have line of sight to either item until the other one's already taken. So a little bit more of an even kill here for Rafa, but it's not an easy pickup for either of them. But this Tri-Bolt damage coming out of Agent allows him to pop through TP and keep the pressure on.
Now he's going to chase him in the recovery room. The Tri-Bolt lead is good. The orb comes out, and the orb comes out from Rafa as well. The LG is actually fantastic. If he can turn this around, 1 HP from Agent now as he has to escape. Rafa doing a great job of turning that around, but needs to be careful.
Cannot believe he didn't get taken down by that buckshot. Of course, here on Blood Run, there is ample health available at the top of the stairs, at the TP, and the top of the stairs of the Tri-Bolt. So you can recover here back up to 100 health fairly quickly, but Agent is still looking a little bit down and having to be incredibly defensive as Rafa is just taking over the map. But again, this Tri-Bolt, just nasty.
Just keeping the damage out, just keep chipping away at him. But Agent, again, might get caught out in recovery room. The orb comes out, and it's not even going to land. And Rafa says, I got one of my own, and takes the frag.
That's not an orb. That's an orb. So we got Heavy coming back up for Rafa. We've got Agent trying to put a little bit of pressure on, but he's going to need to be running back in recovery. It's not every day that you see somebody actually chasing into it for exactly that reason. But Rafa's actually looking for him to come back and saying, not today.
Not today. But the Statue of Liberty play almost works out. The Tri-Bolt just barely out of range, so he won't get the sound notification. Here's Rafa still hunting, and is he going to get another kill in the recovery room? Agent almost overstaying his welcome here. I like the fadeaway Tri-Bolt, keeping Rafa at bay, taking a lot of damage.
And Tri-Bolt and Nailgun are such good defensive weapons. Rafa having to respect it a little bit, but he's just going to go in for the heavy armor. So far, he's just chasing Agent out of these areas with the items and then taking the item away for free. But this time, Agent gets caught a little bit flat-footed. That's going to be 2 for 2 on the orbs, but Agent has turned it all around with the Nyx before. Can he do it again?
Yeah, Rafa in full control right now, but one good surprise ambush with the Nyx can change everything here. As Rafa playing super aggressive, catches him out again, waiting for this 50 shard. He has to pop the Ghost Walk, and Rafa trying not to get telefragged here.
No, I like that. Staying in the recovery room, or what do you call it? The porta potty?
Or the porta potty.
Yeah, the porta potty, yeah. It's such a good place to just say, hey, if Nyx wants to fight here, no problem. I've got my LG ready. Bring it.
Look at this stack, and if he catches out Agent, this could be curtains here. As the Mega's up, he's going to leave it up because he knows that Agent's hurting. The rocket jump doesn't work, but the orb does as Agent tries to jump over, and Rafa says, Kobe.
Dewey just giving a respectful nod. Yeah.
Dewey's like, good.
Yes. All right, so 1-1 as we get into it. And again, just orb frag after orb frag. But as you can see, Agent not looking too, well, okay, maybe I take that back. We saw a little bit of a shimmer there.
Yeah, a little bit. As the Dire Orb comes out and almost gets Dire Orbed again, Rafa putting out the machine gun damage, but Agent's going to be able to back into the Mega, and now Rafa needs to be very careful here. Great rail, though. Stays in it, grabs a 25, and now he's going to go back to the porta potty and try and stack back up here. Agent and Rafa both at even stacks now after all of that.
Yeah, so Rafa having a little bit of a better angle as Agent's coming into Rocket Launcher, but no damage traded out there as we've got Heavy Armor coming back up soon. But again, Rafa's just trying to stay defensive with this nail gun, trying to keep Agent at bay. But here comes the play for Armor. There's the pickup, 3 seconds to Mega. It's going to be a clash here unless Agent decides to just lay an ambush with the rocket. Rafa going, wait, where'd you go? I thought you were going to fight here. Oh.
That was a really good fadeaway by Rafa as he hits that rail. Might be able to get another one here around the corner, but the Tri-Bolt's so strong, Rafa needs to be careful. 25 HP, and he's going to drop down, spam a little bit of his own. And I think he's very lucky to survive that. Goes through the portal, has 50s at his disposal here.
And one of
and another one.
The reasons we've seen the Tri-Bolt be so effective against Rafa is because Rafa is trying to tighten that noose fairly frequently. But that Tri-Bolt from Agent is, again, keeping him at arm's length and sometimes rail's length, as Rafa's just not quite getting these angles for these shots.
Yeah, look at that Tri-Bolt spam. Just anywhere he is getting in his face, keeping that chip damage up, and even if it doesn't do the damage, it keeps him at bay, and he can't push forward to try and close the gap like you mentioned. So great job by Agent utilizing that Tri-Bolt. Heavy's going to be up in 5, Mega shortly after that. About 10 seconds split apart, and this could be beneficial to Rafa as he knows the Dire Orb's taken out now.
Yeah. That's actually big. Agent using that to get up top just to do the damage. But Rafa still gets away with it, even after taking that rail. Like, cool, in 2 seconds I'll get this Mega, and you're going to be up there. We can maybe trade rails. Anything could happen, but it's going to be Rafa pushing through the TP. Agent getting stuck up against the wall, and down he goes.
Yep, tries to hit the shots, but Rafa just with the outstack, good chase, and gets that frag. Let's see if Agent can work this Galena into the mix and try and lock down some of this map.
I cannot tell you how good it feels to be sitting next to somebody who says Galena. It's just breath of fresh air. So Rafa,
I do it for you.
Agent really can't do much here. I mean, he can take away the health, he can throw down a totem to defend, but as far as damage goes, I mean, Rafa's going to have priority on those 225s every single time. However, Agent used that to turn things back around and take away that Mega, but oh my god, all those 7s.
LG channeling his inner Sirius there as it gets very serious, and he gets the frag, and again, Agent down to his Nyx. Can he turn this around? A lot of work to do, but also a lot of time left in the round.
And again, there's a lot of faith that you can put in a Nyx. We've seen a single-handed Nyx just take an entire round back, especially with that double jump, avoiding a lot of that damage. And Ghostwalk or no Ghostwalk, I mean, Agent is completely catching Rafa off guard, and there goes that Ranger. Agent right back into it.
Yeah, well done by Agent there. Uses that Ghostwalk, gets in on that heavy, and then kind of ambushes. I think Rafa saw a little bit of the pop back, so he knew it was gone, but he just couldn't get the damage out to make anything happen there.
And this will mean that Agent will have priority on the heavy, taking a little bit of damage here from the rocket. And more important than the damage is just the information that Rafa got there. So Agent's going to have to come through TP if he wants it. Rafa wants the frag, though. Again, all this aggression coming out. Agent is going to be right on time for that heavy. Still taking a lot of damage, but Rafa is kind of chasing him into items now.
Yeah, Rafa chasing, eating a lot of LG. Does get a good rocket, but Agent's able to stack back up the 225s on Tribal. Now the nail damage comes out. The Mega is Agent's. Hits a great rail. Rafa still pursuing this, and somehow gets out alive. Both players very weak. Rafa more than Agent, but that was a bit of a ballsy push there from Rafa.
I have not seen Rafa be this consistently aggressive in a long time, but to Agent's credit, he is really doing a great job of making it difficult, and Rafa peeks back out going, hey, can I get that armor? No.
Yeah.
No, he can't.
Tries to hit the jumper again, but unfortunately will just eat Tri-Bolt and get denied. Agent hit him with a Dikembe and said, no, no, no. Takes him out, and now we have a BJ versus Nyx. Both players have their abilities up. Rafa, unfortunately, doesn't have the LG, doesn't have much to work with in terms of weapons overall. And 1 minute left in the round.
And this is so dangerous just because Agent still has that Ghost Walk, that's the anti-BJ. And with that first rail, I mean, that's exactly what Rafa needs. The damage that Agent isn't expecting. Maybe make him, you know, skunk out a little bit, get scared, pop the Ghost Walk. But with the damage being dealt out now, Agent's going to need a little bit of the health recovery from the blood pool in order to get back into the map. But at 100 health and none armor, this Mega's not going to be easy, and neither is mid-control.
Yeah, he's going to have to concede Mega here. Rafa just waiting, though, keeping middle of the map control finally going down, and Agent just listening for the sound cues, trying to stay away.
Yeah, looking for overtime here from Agent is actually the right call for sure. Rafa's got every advantage. How does Agent still catch him with Tri-Bolt even as he's like speeding through at 9,000 miles an hour?
I don't know, but he might catch him here in the back haul if that rocket's fantastic, and Rafa's still pushing, does have the stack to work with, but will give up the heavy because of the push. Now Agent looking a little bit better here as we head into sudden death.
That's a big win for Agent, though. The fact that he got the heavy, he took a lot of damage off of Rafa. There goes a lot of the advantage that Rafa had, and he's still trying to get in close and make good work out of that dual wield. But it's all about scaring Agent into the Ghost Walk first.
Can he pop it? I don't know. That rail, again, the Tri-Bolt, you see Agent trying to pepper it in and be like, I'm going to get this damage in whether you like it or not.
Yeah, close range. They both have counters to each other, so it's going to be all about the long-range play. The Tri-Bolt from Agent still very consistent. Rafa starting to pick up more of these rails, but it's going to come down to who can set up the angles in the first shots.
Yeah, Agent stacks so low right now. Mega's going to be up, but he's going to have to concede that as well, just playing around the corner, trying to catch Rafa out.
15 seconds to heavy. Can Agent do anything proactive here, or is he going to stay in hiding?
Does have the Ghost Walk to work with if he wants to try and gamble, but at this point, why would you? A little bit of rocket damage. The Tri-Bolt follow-up's pretty good as well. He will actually win this heavy because of the positioning from Rafa as he pushes Banana.
I can't believe he actually got that, but here comes the dual wield. Agent not even using the Ghost Walk here, he just uses the pillar.
Now using it, and this is huge. I think he's just going to chase and get this frag right next to the teleporter, and that was really good trigger discipline there by not just popping Ghost Walk immediately, not being nervous. He's like, okay, I have the distance, I could dodge some of these, and then he popped it at the right time and secured that frag.
Did you just hit the camera? Yeah, okay.
Rafa visibly frustrated now. Rare footage of Rafa actually
I get
angry.
it too, because yeah, he popped the dual wield, what I would call a little bit early, but a nice LG coming out of Rafa. This time, of course, they have to go Ranger v Ranger. Agent able to take away that heavy, but doesn't get a whole lot of bonus stack from it. Rafa looking a little bit better off in everything but weapons.
Holding that tri-bolt. Now he's going to drop in, try and chase, and then Agent doing a great job with that tri-bolt again. He's found his weapon. I'd like to see Rafa try and use a little bit more tri-bolt, actually. It's working so well for Agent.
Yeah, but Rafa actually wants to make these frags instead of just doing defensive damage, and that's actually been the problem here so far. Agent could be able to take away the 225s. That's going to be heard, as well as the heavy armor picked up. So Rafa's going to have priority on both of these items. Agent still doesn't have a rocket launcher. That's actually going to be a big problem as he wants to come out here towards mid. But Rafa really doesn't have a read on where he's setting up.
He's playing really passive in the porta potty. He might hear this rocket jump up from Rafa as the chase comes out, and Agent very low. He has 225s there, and the orb is so good. That 100 damage orb passing through Rafa's mind, body, and soul here as he makes his way towards the shotgun area. Agent still holding the tri-bolt platform.
I think it's the mind he's got to be worried about here, but he very quickly recenters on that heavy, but he's still taking a lot of damage from the tri-bolt. Agent has priority on that mega, or had priority on that tri-bolt. Takes one rocket, put him up against the wall, nail him there.
Yeah, that was incredible placement by Rafa there. Pops him up and gets the easy follow-up.
So now Agent has to play this thing a little bit differently. He's down one frag. He has to make something happen. He's still keeping the totem up his sleeve. He doesn't want to like throw it out immediately and try to get the early countdown reset, but he can use it defensively in a fight. 7 seconds to mega. If Rafa doesn't collapse here hard, I'm going to be surprised. There we go.
Trying to pepper him with nail gun here, goes through, traps that portal with the totem.
But now Agent's got that tri-bolt back.
Deadly,
you can't discount it here against him. So Rafa actually taking a lot of that early LG and some more tri-bolt as well, so you can see immediately the stacks kind of even out. 7 seconds to heavy. Is anybody going to be alive to take it?
Oh, and he actually misses with the tri-bolt, and this could cause Agent everything here as 40 HP. He has a 25 and a totem, but if Rafa wanted to push that, he may have been able to convert that into another frag.
He wants the frag for sure, but Agent's able to skirt him out just barely. Mega's going to be up. Rafa's going to be crossing in from rocket launcher. And it's going to put some good spin on the items. They're going to be quite well delayed from each other, so Agent really has one place to attack, but also one place to go to avoid the attack. Nice donk on the totem, though.
Yeah, very, very donkey totem here. As an Agent, again, with the tri-bolt, he just hears him around the corner, and he's like, I'm going to spam this, I'm going to spam this, and Rafa can't really do much. He's going to orb. Wow. And, yeah, tri-bolt, huh?
How about it?
That does a lot of damage, huh?
He had the attempt there with the dart orb to try to, just pass right through it, but a little bit too far forward, and now Agent has been able to tie up the frags again and take away that mega, so he can revert right back to where he was in the opening minute here.
Agent will have a totem back up shortly here as Rafa comes up the teleporter exit with the LG blazing. And Agent not afraid to play in this porta potty and just kind of play it very slow. Minute 40 left in the round.
Yeah, why does Quake have to be so violent all the time? Why can't he just be calm and peaceful? Yeah. And that's exactly what he's going for here. But he still has to make a frag. He's tied it back up at the very least, but it's now Galena v. Galena. Putting a little bit of control on the TP exit. Gonna have to see if that yields him any damage here pretty soon, but we've got 10 seconds to the heavy. Agent's in a position to kind of push on through the TP exit and make something happen. But we can hear the explosions, we can hear the rocket jump, and Rafa's actually putting some pressure on this room. It's very difficult to do that, though, because immediately there's like, the 3 exits you can go out, and it's very difficult to just like nail somebody in. If you get the first hit, neat. If you don't, give it up.
Speaking of giving up, Agent might be giving up everything here as both major items go Rafa's way.
Hey, I'll just tri-bolt him. No big deal.
That's fine. I'll give him everything and just tri-bolt it later. Yeah. It's fine.
But Rafa's got to know it's not safe to go through that teleporter. I think he deleted one of the totems. Nope, but that one's still up there.
I really like the fact that Agent's not afraid to play super passive, and this may actually be tilting Rafa a little bit as he's trying to play, a little more aggressive and get in there. But the tri-bolt, just the defensive play from Agent is fantastic right now.
It's so difficult to play like this, though. I mean, it looks kind of ridiculous, but Agent is doing a fantastic job. Blood Run is a map famous for being able to cross the map without your opponent really realizing it, and a lot of the plays coming from that. But Rafa has had a tough time breaking into mid every single time. Like immediately, like he wants to come around the corner, boom, tri-bolt or a rocket or a little bit of LG. Like Agent has him on lock.
Wow!
Oh
no! Double totem. And 4 seconds.
That's
and
a red
Agent's
light.
not going to push in on that, so Rafa's lucky. But we're going to head into sudden death here. It's Agent trying to make his way onto this heavy. Rafa using a little bit of tri-bolt of his own.
have to figure out how sudden it is as Mega's going to be back up. And Rafa is still managing to get in on all these items. I was really expecting Agent, after that double donk on the totem, to go a little bit harder on the heavy. But Rafa probably has a good read here. Like, even when Agent has the opportunity, he's not committing to these items. So I can still get them and not worry too much.
Yeah, I'm still impressed by Agent's just fearless. Like, I'm going to play at this pace, and you're going to like it, or you're going to run into my Tri-Bolt, and you're going to die.
Yeah, and it's been paying off because Agent's actually done like 700 more damage to Rafa, which is just telling a lot of the story here. But LG on LG is going to be a battle of attrition either way. Agent doesn't want that, though. He wants a clean-cut, sure thing frag.
Yeah, the damage from Agent's Tri-Bolt is almost that of his rockets. It's 1,600 damage on the Tri-Bolt.
Ridiculous. But for, to look on the bright side for Rafa, he doesn't have to worry about a Nixus round.
Yeah.
But if he loses this frag, this Galena, that is going to be Blood Run going to Agent.
It could all come down to one totem.
Or two, as we've seen. So Agent has it up his sleeve, going to be taking over the TP exit. Got a lot of time before either of the items comes back up. And again, Rafa's got the stack control, but he needs the first hit. And so far, he's needed the second, third, and fourth as well.
Yeah, just peppering Tri-Bolt. Agent just very aware of where Rafa is all the time and just getting that initial damage and keeping Rafa zoned out.
Needed
that
that
rail, though.
It's a harder angle to hit in this version of Blood Run than others, but really good rockets coming out of Agent. He's going to be getting that health back from the totems. Rafa's going to know that as well, and it's one of the difficult things about pushing it on a Galena. You just can't. Like, they can either use that totem defensively or just get that health back quicker than anybody else can. And again, Agent right back up to 100 HP. No armor to speak of, however, as he crosses back over towards rockets.
Yeah, needs some armor to work with. 5 seconds until heavy comes up. And again, playing very passive by the shotgun. Rafa trying to secure this heavy for himself and Mega shortly after. But again, the stack doesn't really mean anything unless you can get the initial damage. And there it is! As Rafa catches him out with LG, and the teleporter was not his that time. It was actually in control of Rafa, so 2-2 on Blood Run.
I hope Agent noticed it because I certainly didn't. Like, he had two totems up on that TP exit, and they were wiped out, replaced by Rafa's. And you have to stay aware of that when it's Galena v Galena. That means everything. So Agent right back up on the Ranger. We're right back into a bit of a faster pace of play, but it's going to be a 7-second frag as Rafa's Ranger goes down, and Agent just takes away every item. Not a great precedent to set for Rafa.
And that was that play that we talked about. Spawned at rockets, orbed up to shotgun, and got the jump on him.
Yeah.
Well done by Agent to get the quick frag. Rafa needs to reset. Now the orb comes out, and the chase from Agent is going to be strong, but the totem is there, and Rafa has a shotgun as well. He tried to plus back at the last second and be like, no, skirt, but face checked it.
He had to know he was going to take the damage. He was just trying to do some head math. Didn't quite go his way, but there's the LG to take down Rafa before the heavy even comes up. So no steal, and Rafa is literally down to his last champion this map.
So quick, and he needs
45
to be so
seconds,
careful. Dual wield machine gun here, pushing Agent away.
That's exactly it. Just trying to maintain a little bit of distance. That rocket helped out as well. But Agent doesn't really need to be too worried. There's no place really to go right now. Oh no.
Not the jump pad, not the trampoline.
And Rafa just eats the rocket between the eyes. That's going to be one more in the pipe, and Agent takes Blood Run.
3-2. That was a close game.
You could tell how stressed that was because Rafa didn't immediately say GG.
Needed
There's
a
like
minute.
a 3
Sometimes
second.
You gotta breathe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exhale.
Grit your teeth a little bit, and then be like, GG.
Oof. Nice fist pump. We've had a lot of fist pumps here at the
I was gonna say
PGL.
not as good as coolers, but it's still pretty good.
We have to rank them afterwards. You know,
That's
we should
true.
do that later. Just have a.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Call me.
Yeah. I'll have to figure out what to call the show.
But that will wrap up Blood Run. We're going to go into Blood Covenant now,
Right.
though. Again, that Nyx play, I have to say, on this map, we're going to see a visor, surely, from Rafa.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that'll be the hard counter to Nyx. But again, Nyx didn't really make the difference, I don't think. It was the Tri-Bolt that was really making the difference.
Tri-Bolt, totems, it's what I love about Galena, just being able to control so much of the map.
Look
and
at that
again,
damage,
like,
man. Out-damaging his rail and his LG, and on par with his rockets for Rafa. Agent was just like, yeah, Tri-Bolt damage, why not? Here.
it's amazing. You don't see that number pop up there very often, but it wasn't just the fact that he was spamming the Tri-Bolt. In fact, I don't think he was even really spamming. It was like one shot here and there, but it was every single time Rafa came around a corner.
Yep.
So what is Rafa supposed to do? Not walk around corners ever again?
Yeah. Just never. These aren't your corners. But yeah, the pre-fire was perfect. It wasn't overly spammed. It was just well placed.
Yeah.
And that'll keep you out. You can't plus forward. You can't get the momentum going that Rafa wanted to with the LG. And
you feel locked up, like I can't even go through a teleporter. I can't go around corners.
Yeah,
Forget jump pads.
Yeah. How
Speaking
do I reach
of jumping,
these
though,
kids?
we have a Doom Guy coming out, possibly instead of a Ranger. I would be really surprised if it was Doom Guy and Ranger, but it's going to be Visor and Nyx, I'm guessing, for Agent, Ranger and Doomslayer. Okay. So, yeah, no Ranger here.
Yeah.
Not for Agent.
Yeah. Interesting. You don't really need it. I always like playing Ranger because he's so mobile and that burst DPS,
Yeah.
if, in case you get in a bind, is always nice. But I'm very interested to see how this Nyx and the Visor work out. I think probably Rafa will start off with Visor.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if the site will play into that yet. But do a lot of people start off as Nyx? Is that more of an anchor? How do you like to play Nyx?
I don't play Nyx very often.
There you go.
But
There's your answer.
yeah, anchor is exactly it. Like, Nyx last play every time.
Yeah.
But between two of these guys, we've got Doom Guy and Ranger for Rafa to control the top of the map, and we've got Nyx and Doom Guy for Agent. So a lot of extra mobility here from both of these guys.
Oh, yeah. A lot of ability to control the top of the map, which is so crucial on here. But let's get into the game as Rafa is going to start off on that Visor, pops that Vision, makes his way over to the LG, almost gets caught out with a little bit of damage there, but will make his way onto the Mega.
Yep, and of course that puts the characteristic a little bit of spin on the Mega, and you almost artificially do that with the heavy armor as well, because you really do want weapons first. You want to make sure that your opponent's not going to be rushing you with MG, so you try to keep your side of the map safe, and that kind of naturally puts a little bit of delay on both of the items. So it's not going to be like this 33-second mark we're looking at. It's more towards the 40s, and Rafa is expecting an assault from Agent.
5 seconds to Vision, so he's going to grab these shards, and then he'll have all the information he needs. So he doubles back over to the Mega.
Yeah, but Agent's not here. Yeah, Agent's going to be playing it safe, so Rafa's actually going to be delaying the Mega even more, maybe allowing this enough time to go get himself a Railgun, which is a great time for it, especially with the damage he just dealt out to Agent. So now Rafa can run back towards this Mega and put a lot of delay and then collapse hard on the next Heavy.
That was so well done. Rafa's one of the players that are just not afraid. Okay, you're not here. I don't need to pick this up. I'm going to go fight you, do the damage after you get your item, and then I'll double back for it. And he's just so good at that.
Really intelligent play. And now with that piercing sight coming back up right when it needs to before the Heavy does, you can just see Agent run away from it. And Rafa has another decision to make. Damage or Heavy, or in this case, why not both?
Yeah, why not both? That's a great rail as he crosses by. Might get another one if he goes through that teleporter. Agent needs to be very careful. And Rafa now full control as he has this Mega position as well, just trying to catch out Agent with another rail. Will barely miss. Will follow up with one though. And Agent needs to be careful. And again, Rafa just leaving the item up. He wants to get the damage on, keep the pressure up.
Now for Agent, it's a little bit of a rough situation because, yeah, like you mentioned, Rafa has full control. It's a difficult rotation. You're going to be looking for opportunities to do rail damage at the heavy armor, but Rafa is collapsing on some of these corners where Agent might be wanting to set up and preventing that from even happening, and not even going for the heavy one expected, so Agent completely locked up.
Oh, and tried to play a little bit of a teleporter shuffle there, and he runs right into him. Rafa says, what are you doing here? Get out of here.
This is actually going to be good for Agent now getting on the Visor, so at least he can maybe see Rafa changing his route and making it difficult to play around these items. But he's able to stick around on that Mega and get a grab, so that immediately turned things around. But this LG 7's all the way down as Agent is now stuck on his Nyx.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, the Tribal can't save him there as he misses a lot of shots, and Rafa now has everything, really. He has a vision back up, he has the data. He's going to be up in 2, and now he's just on the hunt trying to get some initial damage out on this Nyx.
And he's going to be seeing Agent actually moving back towards Mega as it's coming up, so this could be a bit of an allowed trade, and sometimes in Blood Covenant, you just have to do that. Like, all right, you take that, I'm going to take this, we'll figure it out later. Yeah,
he took a page out of DeHang's book, and he allowed it.
That's why you're paid the big bucks.
That's true. So many Fantas. As the Tri-Bolt spam not landing, but the LG's pretty good as Agent goes around the corner here and actually melts Rafa. Fantastic LG from Agent there. And he will get a railgun as well.
So
Still
Blood
has Ghost Walk off.
Yeah, we had just, clever play after clever play. We had totems, we had, predictions around corners with the spam. This was just LG on LG.
Yeah. Straight up shaft battle here, and Agent won out on that. Still has Ghost Walk again, and here comes the push. Can he get a rail? No, yeah, there it is, and the rocket damage not good from Rafa as he's trying to escape, but that Doom guy does have Berserk up if he needs to throw some fisticuffs here.
Yeah, usually you don't encourage that kind of, sticking out for a fight, but when you know the situation around Mega that's going to happen, you really need to set a precedent, really need to set a tone. That's exactly what Agent's done. Rafa coming back in from across is spamming off a little bit of HMG, not doing significant damage though, with heavy armor coming back up. Agent should at least be in a good position to punish with the rail.
Misses the initial opening rail here, misses the follow-up as well. Rafa trying to get the damage in while he can, and Agent just playing patiently, saying, all right, let me try and hit some of these rails here.
Hey, you do need to hit them. It's important.
That's important.
But Agent
Rafa's
going
hitting
very
80%.
quiet.
Agent's hitting 9. 1 of 11. That is rough.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he had the great angle, he had the great setup, and a great read, but yeah, at the end of the day, you got to push the mouse button when your cursor's over the guy's face.
That's how you get the damage, guys.
That's how you play the Quake. All right, so
Another
5 seconds to Heavy. Agent coming up the jump pad just in time, but Rafa doubling back, heard the jump pad, dropping down on the other side, and making it a little bit more difficult for Agent to set up these rail shots. But is the Tribal as consistent here as it is on Blood Run? So far, no dice.
Yeah, trying to get that damage out and just doesn't hit it. The LG was really strong from Rafa as he turns a corner now and has HMG out. The rail from Agent is good. Can he follow up with another one? No, and he's just eating a lot of damage. He will get the Mega, but doesn't have any rails. Needs to be careful. He's going to push forward here. Does have Ghost Walk up. And Rafa's going to make his great escape. Can he escape? As the LG comes out and the Ghost Walk is forced out. 8 HP now, but Rafa not that healthy either.
And you heard the click of the railgun, which is just so nasty, but as the round runs out, if he had a rail shot there, that would have been one for the ages.
He
but
had to.
He's going to need to make it back in the next round.
Yeah, that was unfortunate there as he tried to push in, had to force the Ghost Walk, and then after that just didn't have the shot to close out.
All right, as we see, I mean, they both have had some amazing shots, and even Shane looking a little bit shocked as we shuffle right into round 2.
Ooh, great initial rocket. The follow-up's fantastic, and just like that, Rafa takes him down by the rockets. That was incredible play by Rafa.
He actually just wanted to play Nyx instead. Just, oh yeah.
Do-over, mulligan.
Yeah. And now he's got it, so he's going to be taking away a little bit of LG as Rafa's taking away Rail. And he's got a full bevy of weapons now with a little bit of time to play between the items, so Rafa might as well go on a bit of a hunt getting that piercing sight, but there's the piercing Tri-Bolt coming right back out from Agent.
Yeah, landing a lot more shots that time. I'm sure that feels more comfortable for him, but Rafa's going to pop that vision, has the data now, and makes the movement accordingly. Gets a little bit of a rocket, just a little pat, just, hey, what's up? How you doing?
I know you're there. Mega coming back up as well as Heavy. It's going to be a bit of a trade, but Rafa actually having to run this thing back, taking a bit of a slower route. Agent could actually put some pressure on this from top pillars. He's not there. He's going to be up at the small armor instead, and still doing a little bit of corner denial with the Tri-Bolt.
Yeah, finally makes his way and gets a rail here. But again, it hasn't really been that effective for him. Maybe in this future, as Rafa will get his own rail. There goes Agent with 2 brilliant rails now. Pops the Ghost Walk. He could play aggressively on here. The vision comes out from Rafa.
Okay.
And I was going to say, if he turns that around, that would be incredible. But Agent, no dice. LG's him down.
Yeah, all Agent had to do there was turn around, literally. But we got Mega coming back up. Agent going to be a little bit worse for the wear. Doesn't have Ghost Walk right now. Rafa's going to be aware of that. So here comes a bit of more pressure on the Mega. It's going to be risky, but Rafa's shut in the corner. But you don't put Rafa in corner.
You never put Rafa in a corner as the LG wins out on that one, and Agent is down to his visor.
And so this is going to be a good comeback for Rafa here so far, but Agent so dangerous when he's on the defensive, as we've already seen. Heavy coming back up, 10 seconds to Mega. We could see Rafa go for an RJ back up to Bridge, but he's going to hear the jump pad instead. Might have to go a little bit more passive through here and just put a little bit of damage on from across pillars. I like the switch over to HMG, a little bit more consistent than a rail. I mean, when you're railing somebody across pillars, you're going, hey, maybe he won't hit me, maybe I'll hit him instead, but you know you're going to get hit by that.
And the Berserk comes out and the punches. Oh, man, he drops into that LG, which was a really ballsy play, and then actually a great rocket from Agent, and then Rafa's like, all right, fisticuffs, it's time.
I can't remember the last time I actually saw Rafa use a Doom Guy Berserk ability on the offensive.
Yeah.
Or at all.
Rare footage of Rafa actually angry.
Yeah.
But he goes up 2-0, and he can take this map here as Rafa again gets the stairwell, spawn pops the vision, gets bullied off LG temporarily here, but he will double back and grab the Mega as well. Agent will grab rockets and rail. Nice delay on this Heavy here. Just a skosh.
I like that gesture from Agent, just a few nails on the LG, just like, all right, cool, I know where you spawned, I know where you're headed.
Just letting him know he's there. Just, hey, I know this is a play I could make.
Right.
And I know that you know now.
It's about making a statement.
It is.
All right, so we got Rafa. Such consistent HMG damage. And there's the Tri-Bolt, a little bit of retribution from Blood Run.
Yeah, fantastic Tri-Bolt work there. The HMG just melting him and then finishing off. And now he has the vision and the LG. Agent will get an LG of his own and actually grab the Mega. We'll trade the items, but Rafa is completely okay with that.
So we've got a little bit of damage coming in from Agent up top. There's the LG tickle from below just to compensate. Looking for the rail. Yeah, there's the switch over to Tribal, but with 15 seconds left in Mega, there's still a lot of time to play this thing out, and Rafa putting some pressure on the railgun just in case Agent wanted to shop through that way. It's not going to be happening. Agent moving across pillars. It's going to be seen, going to be spotted. 3 seconds to Mega. Rafa trying to decide whether or not it's worth going in through the choke point.
Well, just out of range with that Tribal. The timing was pretty good, though, as he makes the rocket jump over. And the 100 damage defensive rocket is fantastic, and Agent has to back away as he eats it. Trying to get a little bit of damage on his own. And
he stuffed his crust there.
Yes, that was quite the pizza as Rafa force-fed it to him. But both players pop their vision now, so that's going to be down for a while. Rafa's going to get his up in 2 seconds as he grabs his time shards, and he's going to have this data quicker than Agent will.
Oh, don't do it. He's not doing it, and Rafa taking over that Mega. Great rocket jump, by the way, keeping his rail trained on Agent the whole time. But now Agent thinking that he can even show up to this heavy. I'm not sure that's justified.
Yeah, and Rafa says, don't you dare, and look at the stack now. But Agent will have vision soon, and he can get the data and kind of play keep away for a little bit longer as he tries to stack back up, and he will grab another 50 shard.
Yeah, again, it's the best thing about dying like 1 minute into the match. You have 4 minutes to make it back.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
fine.
Okay. Everything's fine. This is fine.
Rafa whipping a rail, but making it back up with that one. But there's the Mega taken by Agent. Coming back in with a little bit of his own machine gun, trying to close the distance with the LG, getting the damage in. That defensive rail from Rafa could be looking for a way out. And he has to respect the Tri-Bolt as well. He's just looking for a way out like, no, I'm sorry. This has gone terribly, terribly wrong.
Yeah, jumping for that health could have been the end of him, but he gets away and actually gets the heavy as well. So stack's about even now as he's trying to get his vision back up. And, yeah, the rail, I can't help but think he's still shooting 22% for Agent here. That's a little rough on this map as the rail's so important.
And Rafa's going to expose his position a little bit early, but that's going to keep this Mega safe for him. Yeah, because he had stack control for such a long time, and for the past minute, it really hasn't been anything like what you can call control. But it's going to be a bit of a play here on the corner as Agent's going to take over that heavy. Is he going to get away with it for free? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Rafa
no problem.
Missed that rail, and that's unfortunate. They're trying to punish that pickup.
Nice play from Rafa, just
Good
looking
donk.
for Agent through, and yeah, perfectly timed rocket, getting the info, getting the damage, and yeah, he's got his own Tri-Bolt. Oof.
The heavy machine gun comes out. Or rail, excuse me, as he hits that one, pops the vision, has the data now.
Yeah, Agent has to leave. There's like only a couple 25s that he can get reliably. That rail, I think, just saved him there. But as it stands, there's 1 minute and 30 seconds left on this round, and it's match point for Rafa on Blood Covenant, so Agent really has to figure out something here. Get a new page in the playbook as Rafa's going to be taking over Mega. Agent coming in through mid, might pop through TP for some damage, but it's going to be a potential battle of attrition, just rail on rail with Rafa already having armor and that Mega. Is it really worth it? And like you mentioned there, 40 lines, the rail accuracy hasn't been great for Agent in this round.
When the vision is here, now he's trapped. The LG's really good, and Rafa eating Tri-Bolt, but he could still push this if he wants, and he opts not to and lets Agent live another, I'd say 30 seconds.
I like that actually, because yeah, you can make the frag, but if you are left after that fight with like 40 health, have you really done yourself any favors?
Yeah, especially getting so close. Rafa doesn't have to push. He does have the champ advantage, and he can just kind of wait this out and play super defensive, and he's more than happy to do so as we're getting 30 seconds into the round here, or left in the round here. And we might send this into Awoken.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Cooler did to Rafa yesterday, just without all the spam.
With the Tri-Bolt, and Agent doesn't really have any choice here, but the LG's fantastic. Switches to MG, tries to chase it, and the jump over. Rafa will get the LG in the air, and that's unless a miracle can happen.
It's not going to happen here, but with, well, let me not say it. Rafa's still sticking around. He doesn't quite get the rail. It's going to be the jump pad, and the gauntlet comes out as Agent goes GG immediately.
The rocket jump of victory there. As that was a very convincing map by Rafa, 3-0, sending us to Awoken, saying, hey, the Tri-Bolt didn't really work for you on this map. What's up, though?
So on Awoken, I mean, the Tri-Bolt's still a thing, but you don't really get to coerce your opponent to move around as much, and unlike Blood Covenant, you don't get to just not fight as much. Yep. So it's going to be incredibly different.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this goes. Also, I'm going to see what the champ picks are. Are you still going to go with Nyx on Awoken? I don't see why not, but maybe he's got a little more firepower on something else.
Yeah, the thing with Nyx is compared to other maps where you are doing like a ghost walk on a power-up, if it doesn't go your way, you're left more flat-footed in these power-ups or on these heavy armors and megas than you are on other maps. But yeah, as you mentioned, The rail accuracy from Agent just wasn't there on Blood Covenant, and Blood Covenant it's a rail map.
Yeah.
It's a map you got to bring a good rail to.
Need to be able to hit those rails and chip away at the item pickups at the very least, or at least switch to HMG, but we didn't even really see that happen. So
we did a bit, and it was always at an interesting point where it was like, okay, well, if I can defend with these rails, neat, but if you bring out an HMG, I have to leave because it's, you know that damage is going to be there.
That constant 15 damage. As we're going to get into the champ picks for Awoken, I wonder if we're going to see a random clutch.
I don't know. These guys have to be respecting each other pretty evenly right now. A little bit of BJ, a little bit of Galena. Got the Ranger coming out from Rafa. Okay.
Visors.
Just in case he falls off the map.
Pretty standard picks from Rafa there. Yeah, he needs to be very careful. He can fall off this map.
Yeah. I actually don't want to see Nyx here. I'll be interested. I won't be happy. 2, 1, and it's going to be a Ranger. Okay, yeah. Was thinking about it, twiddling his thumbs, pondering, but went with the more reliable choice, I think.
So predictions then. We've seen the play on the small map, the bigger map. This is obviously a smaller map. Tribalt may play a little bit more into this, like you said. What do you think?
I think if Rafa plays as aggressively as he did on Blood Run, he could set a precedent very quickly. If Agent is given a little bit more time to play defensively and set up, it's going to be dangerous.
Well, let's set up this last map here. Winner goes on and qualifies and can rest easy. The loser has to figure out how to make their way to the top 8 here as we're going to go live. I'm going to start off here on Awoken.
And it's going to be Rafa getting right in the banana facing LG. There's a few spawns in that particular area, and they're actually very different depending on which way you want to go. So that's going to be leaving Mega up for the moment. And Rafa playing in from top T, having to play a little bit defensively as Mega's stolen away by Agent and make that a double item from Agent that has, especially being that Ranger as the first pick.
Yeah, and Rafa off to a bit of a rough start here. Needs to get his vision back up as soon as he can. Trying to find out where Agent is. Spamming that Tri-Bolt a little bit early, and the LG comes out again with the Dire Orb. Agent very quick on that. And Rafa will escape. He will grab the heavy and needs to be careful here. Agent might push. The rail was fantastic there. And Rafa has to give this one up. We'll have the vision momentarily and can play keep away here as he knows exactly where Agent's pushing through.
Where was that in Blood Run from Agent? I mean, these drive-by shots are something a little bit new in this series, and Rafa's definitely feeling the pressure. Agent looking to rocket in and take it out as we've got Rafa going down and spawning again towards LG, but now he's going to be having his Ranger out.
I love this play from Agent. He's like, I know you just spawned, you want rockets, I'm going to wait a little bit here. He will eventually give it up, but we'll chase with the LG, and disengage would be nice as Rafa had the LG out so soon.
Yeah.
Agent couldn't figure out what weapon he wanted, and Rafa took sweet advantage of that with his own LG and gets the frag back.
All right, so it's going to be one champion knocked off either way, but now we've got Agent on his Galena. Always dangerous, as we've already seen, but Rafa having the Dire Orb gives him a few more options, and now he's got a bead on Agent. I mean, if Agent wants to push through here, Rafa could actually put a lot of pressure on not only the heavy, but on the railgun as well. Yeah.
That rail was fantastic.
It's time for the noose to close. Rafa wants it to happen. He's not overcommitting, but he wants the angle, he wants the shot. There it is.
Rocket jump up here, the orb, and now, okay, so Agent will take his own life. He'll be like,
I mean,
you know
that
what?
was a perfectly placed orb and rocket jump. That was
not much
so
Agent
well
can do
timed
at all.
And so Rafa going to be taking a little bit more damage, has to respect the BJ, but he's getting some sonar damage out of these rockets. As we've got heavy coming back up, no orb to get through the drive-through window.
The drive-through window.
Yeah.
He does drive through and hit an amazing rail here. Misses that follow-up as Rafa trying to keep the damage up here.
You have your own syllabus that I just really respect. I'm just trying to learn.
I'll teach you, young Padawan. Come with me.
Get
in the van.
Don't make me wear a ponytail.
The Tri-Bolt is fantastic there as Agent will just eat those bolts. Rafa makes his way over to the heavy, won't be up for 5 seconds. Mega will be delayed by about 15 seconds, so a good spread. Maybe too long, but we'll see.
Just his little feet sticking out there. Like, you can see him, right? Like, you can do some damage, but yeah, no rail shot out of Agent. He's still got his ability back up, as does Rafa, so they're both going to be a little bit scared of each other as that Mega's taken away by Agent. It's going to be an item trade. We hear the rockets being played back over towards LG, so Rafa actually keeping this side of the map. He's losing a lot of information. Agent could pop out either direction, and Rafa won't really have that initial information at all.
Yeah, it still doesn't have a rail, not a huge deal right now, but keeping that mid control is very good because he gets all the sound cues as Rafa moving around, trying to figure out where Agent is and trying to make a move.
There's the
Oh,
orb.
the
It's 100
dire
damage,
orb.
and he commits to it a little bit late, but that Mega's taken away by Agent, so he got away with it just barely by a hair's length,
That was
as Ketchup would say.
an incredible dire orb there.
I think it could have been better if he
Actually
popped it,
telefragged?
yeah, a little bit quicker. Not even the telefrag, just having that fight in the corner after doing the 100 damage, preventing the Mega. But all this LG, Agent's rocket jump goes a little bit wide as Rafa doesn't quite commit to the push forward. We've got 4 seconds to Mega, and now Agent's got to decide whether or not he wants to be there. Rafa trying to double or even triple guess him. Well, that's just going to let Agent get the Mega. No biggie. All right, so Rafa making his way back through Banana. And as Zoot said yesterday, that's going to be a little fruitful for him.
Does have a minute left here, and Agent has to push. Rafa has full awareness of this and is going to play very defensive here. Doesn't have to give anything up. Good LG tickle, follow it up by a nice rail. Has the height advantage here to spam rockets down. And with 40 seconds left, Agent has to find a way to get in there, try and get this frag back.
I mean, BJ's the master of getting in there, so Rafa just having to defend this Mega. He's going to get it for once, but not for free as that rail comes out from Agent. And now that he's got a rail gun, you can obviously see how dangerous he is. And again, night and day between Awoken and Blood Covenant so far.
Yeah, maybe it's the atmosphere. It's too dark on Blood Covenant. I don't know. He doesn't like it. Maybe the fresh air on Awoken is really waking him
He can't
up.
make rail hits unless he can hear frogs.
Exactly.
Oh,
The
but
dual
the
LG.
blindsided.
And Rafa can't get away, tries to dire orb, but Agent doesn't bite and fall down, stays on top and gets that frag with 5 seconds left. We're going to be heading into sudden death, but how sudden will it be?
That's the last thing you want to be surprised by is dual-wield LG out of a blind corner.
It's a bit aggressive.
Not like Rafa to completely lose track like that, but as we've seen on Blood Run, Agent can go into hiding like nobody
Great
else.
rocket.
Oof.
Now Agent on the back foot here, waiting by that cubby, and the LG tickle from below will actually take him out, and Rafa takes the first round.
Relatively sudden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say that was a good sudden death there.
But especially after that LG play like we have here, like Agent left it taking a little bit of damage without a whole lot of items to go take. So, you know, what's your plan B after that?
Yeah, you can see Rafa frustrated with that, but pulled out the round, so it's fine. Just needs to focus here as the dire orb comes out for Agent towards the rail. He won't actually take it, and Rafa trying to get these rails in, but he can't. Now he has to back away.
Yeah, time to leave.
Yeah.
A little bit late.
Hanging out a little too late. You don't have to go home, but you shouldn't stay there.
A slight case of one more shot-itis as Rafa, he did get a little bit of damage in, but that damage is quickly washed under the bridge as Agent takes over Mega, and he's still got his back to heavy. He can go take it at will, but he's committing all in on this fight. Gonna have to pop back through the TP, and it might be a race over to at least the angle on this heavy, but it's taken away by Agent. Dire orbing back up to get a position on the Mega. Rafa knows it and is setting up with this tribal.
Unfortunately, none of it will land, though, so he can't really stick around. Didn't get the initial damage, but he will go towards the LG. Agent trying to snuff him out here. Gets a little bit of damage, but again, nothing doing as Agent claims the Mega.
Yeah, I mean, that spam not doing any damage, sometimes it's better to not fire, because if you really know they're about to come around that corner, you actually want to hit the guy.
Yeah.
Don't want to just keep him out of the room. You want to do some damage.
When the dire orb comes out, the LG is good. And now Rafa's stuck here trying to fight his way up with the LG. The dire orb comes out, but unfortunately will land on the jump pad, and that is just a free kill for Agent. Although 21 HP, Rafa did good damage. Could follow up here, but that rocket's going to keep him out. The tribal almost takes Agent out, but the Mega's right there. That would have been incredible.
So in this fight, Rafa's only going to have LG and Tribal. Agent's going to be respecting enough to leave. But as he's actually being forced back down through Banana with 2 seconds to heavy, I don't think he can show up here. He's got a railgun. Maybe he can fire through the takeout window a little bit, but it's not going to be happening as such. We've got Rafa coming back in. 10 seconds to Mega, but he wants to do some damage first.
A little bit of splash damage here, but Agent will be able to double back and serve up some hot and fresh Tribolt over there as the Dire Orb to keep him at bay. Almost gets another follow-up set of Tribolt, but he will claim the Mega. 10 seconds to the heavy. And Agent really found his stride with the Tribolt on Awoken.
I'm sure that Agent would tell you that it's do or do not bolt. There is no Tribolt.
There is no try.
So we got Agent looking for these rail angles, and so far they've been a little bit more consistent. Rafa popping back through TP. Agent down to 19 health on the run, got his back to the Mega up in 5 seconds, but as this heavy is taken away by Rafa, we can see here and look at the stack for the rocket jump, so Agent going to be respecting that and backing off.
Getting a lot of damage, though. Rafa has the advantage here, hitting some great rails. And Agent trying to stack back up off whatever he can. Item's not up for a while now, so very dangerous here as Rafa trying to figure out where Agent is.
especially since he's only at 100 HP. It's got to be tempting to try to make a fight happen. Heavy coming back up. He can hear the splish splash down at the Heavy, but only 61 damage off that rocket. So Agent's still in trouble as he comes up the jump pad, trying to orbit back out of there. That barely gets him out of the way, as this rail damage is still coming in. Agent, I mean, he's got to be puckering up right now.
Yeah, got to be terrified as Rafa is on the hunt here. Again, Agent gets got out by the drive-through window, and fast food gets got by the drive-through window. Fast food is terrible for your health, and he's going to get caught out again, and 2 quick frags by Rafa will tie up this game with 2 minutes left.
All right, so Galena v. Galena, one of my favorite things in the world, is Rafa RJing back up, putting some pressure on the Mega, coming around the blind corner. Not a lot of fun, but that's exactly at the same time Agent still needs to get himself an LG and a Tri-Bolt. And we've got the rails coming out of Rafa. The damage is good. This could be full control for Rafa, and there might even be a frag before this Heavy comes up.
I love the patience.
Yep. There
well
it is.
done by Rafa there. That rail, he zoomed in and he just waited. He didn't try and flick or anything. He waited, lined up with the shot, got that rail, and then he just had control of T-Con, and that was a great frag there. Up 2-0, 1 round away from getting in the money, securing top 8, and he can just chill the rest of the day.
This is maybe the 3rd time on Awoken so far that we've seen Agent just not really know how Rafa is going on the aggressive. Like in Blood Run, every time Rafa wanted to come around any corner, he had him locked down. But now Rafa has a little bit more freedom to change his route and get the drop on Agent.
Yep. The map is a little bit bigger. It doesn't lend itself to just 2 ways out, and the Tri-Bolt not working as well, but definitely better than Blood Covenant, where we saw him try and use that as well.
This is too much room, really. But we've got to play here at the TP exit. Rafa whipping out the LG, getting some good damage in, but chasing Agent around the corner is always dangerous, and yeah, that rocket is going to get some revenge.
So quick trade there as we're back to Galena on Galena, your favorite. Battle of the totems, if you will.
Yeah.
And Agent's going to get caught out by this Heavy, needs to be careful, puts down the totem early, and Rafa says, all right, whatever, I'll grab this Mega. That's fine. Could catch him out here as Agent does not have an LG or a rail yet.
I think it's all those years playing Engineer in enemy territory. Just it's the same kind of gameplay. Here's the obvious place to put it, but I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put it 2 feet to the left, so you run into it anyway, and it just keeps on going from there.
The perfect placement.
We've got Rafa taking over the top of Heavy, a fairly safe location, all things considered. Hard to get the drop on anybody. Here on the stairs, as we've seen, it's a bit of a nastier spot, and Rafa doing so much damage with the Tri-Bolt, getting in the rail as well. And so Agent's going to be running back in to the armor, but it's not going to be a safe way to go.
Rafa doing a great job of utilizing that Tri-Bolt there, following up the rail here, and now he's got a great stack. Agent with a great organic stack now. Might get caught out, finally gets an LG, and playing very quiet, trying to figure out where Rafa is. Rafa keeping a good job of that T-Con control.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's going quiet here. Agent has a couple avenues of escape. Rafa committing to one of them, that's going to let Agent get out, but no big deal for Rafa. He's still got Mega. 5 seconds to Heavy. I will be surprised if Agent shows up for anything more than a rail.
He might get caught out here.
He didn't want the fight. Leave me
Like,
alone.
please stop. There's an item. Go get the item. And Rafa will, and look at that stack now. Agent playing on that T-Con, which is great for sound, and uses that sound to hit that 74 damage rocket. Rafa fires back with one of his own here, and Agent will dip out, grab the 50 and the 25 health.
There are very few things that feel better than getting that blind rocket hit
Yeah.
right around the corner.
That's satisfying. Donk.
He didn't really get anything else after it, but he's still able to move back in here towards Mega, but I think he might have even lost timing on Mega. He's sticking around like, hey, it's coming up, right?
Yeah, and
Where'd
eats
it
a
go?
rail.
And now he's losing out on every item, and what's worse is that Rafa's now got the items on a 15-second split, making things very dangerous for Agent. He's got to get a lockdown on how Rafa's moving through the map, and he needs to punish him for doing so.
Rafa has a totem as well, so he can go all in on this and have another heal behind him. Agent playing very slow, very, very defensive here, trying to figure out where Rafa is and stay away.
He doesn't have a railgun yet either. Looking for
This
the
is it.
shot. It's the one good rocket he needed, and it's good, but it doesn't really lead into anything else. But there's another good anticipated rocket moving down towards Heavy. But if he had a rail, this would be even better. He's just doing Oh, no! He is gone. Get out of there.
Sir, let me see your ID. You're not allowed in here.
Sir. Oh, man. So this is going to give Agent not only the frag, but it's likely going to give him timing again on Mega. There it is. It's popped back up. 10 seconds to Heavy, and here's where everything potentially changes for Agent.
Agent trying to get that Tri-Bolt damage again. Not willing to chase, just holding the T-Con control. Armor will be up soon. Good rail from Rafa. The Tri-Bolt is pretty good from Agent here. Is he going to go in on this and trap right? Well, Dire Orb from Rafa. Well played from him to get away. And the LG tickle is actually fantastic as he forces Agent through the teleporter.
It's a tough set of decisions for Agent, really, especially as they're going to be meeting here at Banana. Rafa pushing on through, knowing that Agent never really stacked back up after that frag, looking for the retribution after that knockout. But where Agent had the opportunity to go full on for the items, he also thought, hey, Rafa knows that he needs a frag here in the next minute. Do I want it to get messy, or do I just want to play out the clock? Even if that means I'm not really going to have a whole lot of health, not any armor at this point.
It does have Totem back up. Needs armor. But again, 40 seconds left.
Not making any sound.
Yeah, doesn't want to pick anything up and give away his position. He just wants
one
to.
with the rain.
Yeah, I need this round.
So Mega coming back up, and of course now Rafa has the tough decision of, do I keep routing the items knowing that Agent won't be there, or do I try to find Agent and not have as big of a stack as I should have? But now he's got them both under his belt, so might as well go for it.
And here's the push from Rafa. The Totem comes down. The Dire Orb to close the gap, and are the rockets going to be good enough? They are. And Rafa, fantastic job with 15 seconds left to tie it up, but needs to be careful here as Agent does have that Blazkowicz, but doesn't have the LG quite yet.
It's a dangerous corner to come around right now, Rafa, but he's got a great stack. Agent might not have an LG just yet, and that will be overtime as we get into it, as Rafa is now one frag away from taking the entire set 2-1, or Agent could push this into another round.
I am very surprised that Agent, while he had the opportunity, did not grab LG in that room. Dire Orb comes out, the rockets are fantastic, and this could be it, and he takes him down, and Rafa with a dominating performance, 3-0 on Awoken, will advance. He's in the money, he's done. He can kick up his feet and relax.
Thank you, Agent. That rhymes, right?
Yeah, no, you did great. When's the rap album coming out?
Next year.
Okay, can't wait.
All right, but that's going to be Rafa v. Agent, and again, fantastic play out of Agent on Blood Run. It definitely had a lockdown there. But on Awoken, which could actually, as we saw, potentially play in a similar way, Rafa had much more flexibility.
Yeah, more routing opportunities, more pathing. The Tribalt wasn't that effective for Agent. Jason, what do you think?
Gentlemen, Tribalt's good. You know, you got to respect the Tribalt. I was watching those matches, and I thought Agent did such an amazing job of disengaging and turning that aggression that Rafa was constantly trying to barrel down at him with to keep his distance. Like he was the Tribal, you guys were talking about it, he did more damage with that than his rail, than his LG. He didn't do more than rockets. But every time Rafa tried to get aggressive and get in his face, he's like, you know what, I'm going to Tribal you. I'm going to back away and keep my distance. And I think you said this earlier on for you, that's got to be so frustrating if you're Rafa, because you want to fight, right? You want to have a frag happen, but constantly Agent's able to keep the distance with the Tribal.
Absolutely. I mean, getting pretty much stiff-armed whenever you're trying to move in and just taking so much damage. Even if it's not the damage, it's the fact that it stops you dead in your tracks and you're like, great, all of my movement's gone. I have to reassess everything and go another way. And then when I do that, more Tribalt. And he just did a great job on Blood Run. But again, the other two maps, Blood Covenant and Awoken, didn't really lend themselves to that same kind of style. And we saw Rafa be able to play a lot more aggressive and get in on those fights that he wanted.
And we saw in particular on the first map of Blood Run, Agent actually stuck around for a re-pickup of ammo for the Tribal. It's not like he just picked it up once and left. He actually stuck around specifically for that. And even in some cases, when he was near Mega shooting towards light armor, he actually had the rail out. He's like, no, I don't want to shoot this gun. This isn't my type of gun. Like,
what gun is this?
Pull up the Drake meme right now. And then he switched to Tribal and used it. Like, that really showed what he was going for the entire time.
Critically, the thing about a Tribalt or a grenade launcher or any weapon of that kind, it's the ability to do blind damage. Like you throw something up and then you can get out of the line of sight and you could be doing the damage without even being visible to your opponent. And that is just so valuable. And the fact that Agent was able to kind of do what Dahang had been well known for years, is just being the master ninja on Blood Run. I think if you can apply the same techniques to a map like Awoken, where it's certainly doable, I think it's just a matter of iteration right now, just like figuring out what doesn't work. I think this match is going to be really valuable for him, and I think Agent is going to become more and more dangerous as time goes on.
I just love the way that he